Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Let's talk Guilty Gear Strive. Specifically, Strive has now been out for a few weeks, and overall reception, I think, has been just incredible across the board, right? Everyone's pretty happy with the game, and that's great. We want a great game to play with, and overall we have one, but it's not to say we're without some nitpicks, right? And that's kind of exactly what I want to talk about in this video. Now that it's been out for a few weeks, what is good, what's bad, and what could just use a little bit of improvement. And before anything else, I guess just to talk balance, yeah, we already know there are some balance things. Like, a character like Soul Bad Guy is definitely stronger than a character like, say, Faust. Sure, I don't think anyone's really going to disagree with that, but it's still super early on in the game's life, and we have EVO to look forward to. That'll be in August, right? So I think let's shake things out there. So let's finish that, let's have those arguments then. But yeah, some characters are stronger, some characters are weaker, but it's a little too early just to go crazy full-on balance mode and, just shucking out tier lists left, right, front, and center. And we know we're getting our first DLC in July, which is not very far away now, right? And who knows, there could be small balance changes then. So we'll leave that discussion for another time. Let's just talk about the game itself minus the balance. And the game itself, fantastic. I gotta think now, just with the stuff we now know a few weeks in, right? Imagining all the people decrying this game would have, like, no depth, like, there'd be no tech, there'd be no nothing, right? And just how insanely, incredibly wrong and what bad takes those were, because Strive is absolutely brimming with depth. Especially, oh my god, on the back of how the Roman cancel system works. We're still only tweaking the beginnings of this, but there is so much craziness to be had. We already know now, like, what we know now already has shattered all expectations, to take that from another company, right? But what we'll know a month from now, 6 months from now, it's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm looking forward to it so much. And overall, the core gameplay is fun. One of the biggest things people worried about early on, I think, is actually one of its saving graces in higher damage. It's not as high as it was in older betas, but rounds go by quick. And that's one of the best things about it, is because it really feeds the need. Okay, next game, let's go, 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 go. You just want to keep getting into the next game. And I think that feeling is, it helps a lot. Like, this is a game, compared to like MK11, Street Fighter 5 or whatever, you can have games go by and you just feel real bad when you lose, right? And I think win or lose, the fact that the match go by so quick and the rematching and all that is so fast and getting the next match is so fast, it kind of curtails some of those bad feelings, right? The fact that, okay, maybe you lost, but we can just get into it right away, right? I think that's fantastic. So a bad loss is easily mitigated by the fact you just go into the next game real quick. Maybe that's just a take on it. I don't know. It just, a bad loss in like Street Fighter 5 or Mortal Kombat 11, oh my god, that can ruin my day, especially MK11, right? But here, it just feels good, man. Just like, okay, let's get the next match, whatever. I lose a lot of matches with a smile on my face, and that's one of the best things that can happen in any fighting game. So before this just comes like gushing hour or whatever, when it comes to just gameplay, the game itself, I got nothing but good things to say right now. It's just fun, right? So let's move on to some other subjects where sometimes it's not as fun. And let's talk, maybe one of the bigger issues plaguing the game right now is the lobbies. The lobbies are totally fine to me from a purely mechanical perspective, right? You have your stations, the aesthetics or whatever. I don't mind them, actually. It's starting to grow on me, right? Like, I got a Potemkitor, like, it's Potemkin, but he's a centaur. So, like once I put that together, I'm like, okay, this is not bad. This is not bad. And the fact that you can, like, assault people while you're in lobbies, like, drop kick them and stuff, I'm a big fan of that, actually. I'm a big fan of screwing around. But the part that's not so good is the parts where lobbies can be kind of jacked sometimes, even when you're not in a lobby, right? And refused to connect, failed to connect, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure if you put any amount of time into the game, you've seen this a million times already, right? It can be extra rough. Like, it's already happened a million times to me in a private lobby, right? So it's not even in a public lobby or whatever where you can maybe somehow magically forgive a problem because there's more people or whatever. Private lobby, me and one other person trying to connect to each other and just fail for like 5 minutes straight until we finally somehow connect. And that is like unacceptable. And if that's how that is now, imagine how bad things are going to be, and just being exacerbated and just multiplied by like all the thousands of people that are going to be in the Evo, right? Because that's how they're going to have to match up together, and that's going to cause problems. And not the least of which is, like, when I go into online, if I want to play against people that are not like specifically friends or whatever, like, I don't use the lobby, I do the matchmaking through training mode, right? And it screws up there all the time too, where like I'll be in training mode, it'll like try to connect, fail, and then it'll boot me out of training mode into a lobby. And that's an awful feeling. Now, I have full confidence this is something that will be fixed for the most part, almost in full, if not in full, right? Some point in the future, but that's some point in the future, and not right now. And right now, this shit sucks. Pardon my French, but it's probably the single most frustrating aspect of the game is when this stuff isn't working. And this is like basic low-level stuff, like just connecting in a lobby and matchmaking, either private or public or whatever. Like, this should not be the issue that it is, but it is an issue. I love playing the game, but when the game tries to not let you play the game, that becomes frustrating. So that out of the way, like the game, already gushed about it. This is my single biggest gripe is lobby and connection issues, and it'll be fixed at some point, I'm sure, but it's not fixed now, and that's the problem, especially coming into the EVO Online, where this problem is going to get highlighted big time if it's not fixed before then. So with that out of the way, let's talk some minor quibbles, just some things I would like to see, little quality of life things. So for your rankings, we go through floors 1 through 10, Celestial, and VIP. And I think it's actually pretty well thought out, and it's actually maybe will be imitated in the future. I don't know. I think it's actually well done, and it's working exactly, so far at least, as they intended it to work, as the various skill sets of players out there are now correctly being grouped together. But one of the things I would personally love to see is it become a little bit more character-based. So with me as Potemkin, I do well, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm doing pretty all right. I got my VIP and all that kind of stuff. But if I want to switch a character that's not Potemkin, I am not as good, right? So on my quest to get the VIP and all that, every time I switch a character, I immediately derank 2 floors because I'm not as good with those characters and I lose all my progress. So maybe the character progress could be a little independent, right? It'd give more value, because I am VIP with Potemkin. I'm definitely not VIP with Chip, Axel, May, Soul, whatever. All these other characters, I'm not as good, right? So I would like to see if you could earn the VIP per character. I think that would make it a lot more special. And with that, maybe make the character tower rankings independent from each other. So if you're floor 10 with one character, but you're not as good with the other character, you don't start on that same floor necessarily. Like, I guess you want to keep it a little even with each other, a little bit of parity. So if you're on floor 10 with your best character, maybe every other character starts on floor 8, so you're not in just floor 1 stomping people, right? But if you're floor 10 with that character and you pick a whole new character, you're definitely probably not floor 10 worthy with some of the other characters in the game, right? I just think that would add a little bit more value, and also would help encourage people to switch around a bit more, because they won't lose their progress, as it were, with their main character. So they're incentivized to try out characters more, because if they're trying to get the Celestial ranks or whatever, they definitely won't ever want to pick someone they're not, intimately familiar with, because otherwise they lose, right? So I think doing this would encourage just messing around with a lot more characters, and it'd be more fun for everyone overall. And then once again, it would make the VIP very special, because I'm VIP with this specific character, right? I have earned it with this very specific character, and it just, to me, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, right? I just think it makes it more valuable. I think more forms of progression are more valuable for replay value, especially because some VIPs and all that reset every month. So it'd be one thing, okay, I just got VIP with my main character, but now I want to chase VIP with Axel. I want to chase VIP with Soul or Kai or whatever, right? And the more VIPs you have, then just reflects better on you, obviously, and it's just a fun extra thing to work for all the time. And speaking of other forms of progression, I think Progression has its own special value, and it keeps people coming back every day, more than just trying to get your rank up, right? And it'd be fun if there's just more examples of that. Like, you can set your badges per character, right? I think that's pretty cool, and they have like neat little badges. I have this like Potemkin little specific badge, that's neat. And maybe add like, seasonal badges, animated badges, just to really show off, because showing off is a big part of video games, right? Maybe earn upgrades to your little house or something. I don't know. One of the things I always loved, specifically, this is going way back here, Dead or Alive 4. You could have big private lobbies and invite people in, and there was always one specific match going on that was like on TV in the background. If you could say somehow take one of these stations and it just publicly broadcasts that match while you're all in your private lobby, I think that would just be a fun little layer they could add. Maybe I'm crazy on all this. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Just, little additional layers of progression. I think it's just something fun to add to the game, especially because hopefully, and well, they've already said Strive will be supported for years to come, and just little extra things like that help with player retention and just keep people coming back for years to come. Maybe because I'm just overall incredibly satisfied with the base game as it is, I think about this kind of stuff, because normally any other given fighting game we have a million things to complain about, right? You know how we love to complain in the FGC. That's the real game in the FGC, is complaining, right? Not playing the game. But overall, I'm just really happy with the game as it is, so I just would love to see more and more stuff, right? We know we're getting another story mode. We got 5 characters coming this year for DLC. That's awesome. More stages too. And I'm very happy for that. Hey, if you ever played Dragon Ball FighterZ, even though technically stages aren't important, lack of stages can drive people crazy, because we definitely went crazy over time in Dragon Ball for lack of stages. So that's all cool, and I love seeing all this stuff coming, but just a little bit more would be just lovely. And that's just where I stand on things now, friends. I would truly and honestly, I would love to see your opinions on this matter. So let me know in the comments below what you think about all this. What are you liking about Strive so far? What are your gripes? I'm sure almost all of you have gripes with the lobbies. That's definitely bad guy number 1 right now with a bullet. And hopefully that gets resolved at some point in the very near future. And otherwise, before I really start rambling here, I guess we'll end the video. So with my friends, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Guilty Gear.